It was joy as the newly elected Bishop of Busoga Diocese, together with his wife, visited Christians of St. John's Chitegomba Church of Uganda and led through a fundraising service for the construction of the clergy's house. Now, the bishop called upon the Christians to give generously to God in acknowledgement of the wonderful things he does in their lives. He called for peace to prevail during this election period. We take a look.
At St. John's Chitegomba Church of Uganda in Kasangati, the newly elected Bishop of Busoga Diocese, Reverend Canon Professor Grace Lubali, was welcomed by Christians with joy during a fundraising service for the construction of a priest's house. The bishop first laid hands upon the Sunday school children, praying for God's blessing to rest upon them.
Equip and empower you.
The bishop-elect led through the sermon, basing his preaching on the theme, giving is stewardship. He revealed how stewardship is manifested in 4 dimensions: the body, time, possession and talent, hence calling upon the church leaders to be exemplary to the rest of the Christians.
I was preaching, telling people that God has made us stewards of 4 things: body, time, possession and talent. And we are required to use part of our possessions, our time, body and talent to give to God through the ministry of the church. So I was telling the Christians here to Chitegomba, because God has made them stewards, they should give to building the house of the clergy. When the clergy stay in a good house, it gives a good image to God, a good image to the church and to the nation. When leaders lead by example, in the case of giving, you teach the others to give. Even when you're a father at home, when you lead by example giving to your wife and your children, you are teaching your sons that when you also grow and become husbands, you give to your wife and your children. So leadership is critical in giving when you are being exemplary.
He provided a different way through which Christians can give in the house of God, such as tithing, offering, thanksgiving and pledges, providing examples of men and women in the Bible who observed this principle. The bishop-elect called upon men to love their women by giving them generously.
If the Lord has made you a steward of a car, of land, and you don't give to him, you frustrate God's ministry. In future, it may frustrate you, that's what I've said. When you give sparingly, you receive sparingly. When you give generously, you receive generously. When you give generously to your wife, you receive the blessing generously. When you help your community to develop, you also develop generously. So when you give to God's ministry, to God's work, the Lord also blesses you in greater measure.
He provided 5 major strategies he intends to achieve in the Busoga Diocese upon his enthronement in December this year.
Pillar number 1 is mission and evangelism. We will preach the gospel in and out of season and season, in all places, telling people that of the saving Christ. Number 2 is good governance. The institutions of the diocese and beyond must function. The head of laity, the synod, the committees, the boards, the collections, accountability, these must function. Number 3 is capacity building. Capacity building in terms of human resources, financial resources, and physical resources. And number 4 is resource mobilization. We must mobilize the resources, human resources, financial resources, physical, from wherever they are, and bring them into the diocese to transform that place. And number 5 is effective representation. As a bishop, I pledge to represent this diocese in Busoga, within the diocese, representation at all corners, all boards, all committees in the diocese.
The bishop also provided a summary of his background and called upon Christians to be courageous and believe in themselves to be successful.
I hold a PhD, I have 2 master's degrees in theology and women's studies, I have a bachelor's degree in Makerere. I come from Kamuli. My parents, Reverend Nathan Lubali, was a priest in Kamuli district in Busoga Diocese. My mother was a teacher, became a head teacher, Margaret Lubali, my mother, in Kamuli district. So we have lived an ordinary life with ordinary people, studying in ordinary schools, from Kamuli Primary School to Naminage to Kaliro Primary School in my P7, to St. John Bosco Kamuli SS where I did my O-level, to Chirako where I did my A-level, from ordinary beginnings.
Commenting on the forthcoming elections, he called upon Ugandans to exercise their civic rights, responsibly observing peace and stability.
When votes have been declared and we have a winner, we must follow that leader, whether you voted him or not. Violence has never been an answer. Violence is destructive, and we all can't be in that position at the same time. At a time, the Lord chooses. If now the Lord has chosen this person, let's work with him. You will be chosen maybe the next time, or your can come next, because Uganda and your constituents are not closing. But when you create violence, you will die early before your desired candidate is in that position.
Church leaders and Christians explained about this maiden visit and the motives behind it.
Yayitibwa okujja tukulembera okulabika tukuŋŋaanya ssente olw'okuzimba ennyumba yatandikibwa era katuli ku mutendera gwa silaabu ate bwe tuba ku silaabu tugende waggulu era omulabirizi omulonde kyatukoledde abuulidde enjiri ate ekitiibwa ky'enjuba kirala n'olwekyo okujja kulina kinene nnyo kyekukoze. Twebaza Katonda atuwadde olunaku luno okujja ekiteegomba okukubiriza omulimu gw'okuwaayo ku kuzimba ennyumba y'omusumba. Twebaza Katonda atuleese, naye ekikulu twagala abantu okuyiga okuwaayo.
John Baptist Ahunza, Church of Uganda, Family TV News at 8.